Hello and welcome to this episode of Motor Trend's Head to Head. Today we've got something of a no-brainer comparison for a couple of reasons. The first is, check out how similar these two cars are. The Corvette ZR1 makes 638 horsepower, while the new SRT Viper makes 640. That's 2 more. The Viper makes 600 pound-feet of torque, where the ZR1 makes 604. That's 4 more. Very similar cars, plus they look alike. The other reason why this is sort of a no-brainer is because neither car has any brains. Zombies, look elsewhere. However, they do have what my British friends like to call bollocks, big, shiny, brass ones. Whose are bigger? I can't wait to find out. While their outputs are similar, the engines are quite different. The Viper's engine is, well, insane. At 8.4 liters, it's the largest displacement production car motor in the world. Oh, and it has 10 cylinders arranged in a V formation. Peak torque shows up at 5,000 RPM, right after hell is already broken loose.
That still works, Bernard.
Speaking of hell and loose, the new Viper finally gets traction and stability control, but even with both on, you're still fighting with a venomous, angry snake. The Corvette ZR1 makes do with just 6.2 liters and 8 cylinders, however it does have a big fat supercharger on top of the V. Chevy calls this motor the LS9, and we know that SRT was well aware of its capabilities when they started in on the new Viper. The Corvette also has big, 15.5-inch carbon ceramic brakes up front. The Viper makes do with 14-inch slotted steelies, and as tested, the Viper GTS weighed just 17 pounds more than the Vette. But which car is faster? To the drag strip! But how do these two monsters handle off the test track? Again, about the same. I actually had a hard time telling one from the other. They're that similar. Running around on the same roads back to back, we couldn't even get a tire to squeal. Thing is, the limits of these cars are so high that you can't even begin to sanely approach them on public roads. Personally, I would have had more fun in a Boxster, a Camaro 1LE, or a Subaru BRZ. The Viper has a nicer, higher quality interior, but there's a big but. After a 300-mile road trip, the Viper really shows off its sadistic side. The offset pedals and steering wheel literally cramp your style. The seats are rock hard, the noise is absolutely deafening, and the side pipes still superheat the lower part of the cabin. However, SRT assured me that at least the thundering noise, via a windshield fix, and the seats have been addressed for consumer cars. So, if you can't fully exploit these beastie boys on the street, you've got to take them to a track. And what better track than the notorious destroyer of brakes, Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Here are my impressions. Okay. Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca, Corvette ZR1 on these awesome cup tires. First of all, this car is such a beast. God. I'm gonna lift for one. Oh, maybe I'm not. Okay, didn't lift. Wasn't flat, didn't lift. Big brake zone, and we got big brakes. And, you know, Laguna Seca is a big braking track. And these humongous carbon ceramics with these sticky cup tires, it's just, you have such control in this car. Really good job by Chevrolet. You can brake late, and you got it. And the grip is just otherworldly in this thing. So much different than on the street. 108 miles an hour, braking, probably getting faster. Into 5 tight, hang it out wide. What an amazing car. Lifted too early there, but that's okay. Into 6 on the strips. Hard up the hill. This thing just charges. All right, into the braking zone for the corkscrew. Into the corkscrew. Yo! Jumped a little bit there. I've driven other ZR1s around Laguna Seca, but never with tires like this. Unbelievable. All right, final turn, gonna pit. Wow. What a machine. What a violent, fun, athletic machine. I just hope they build these forever. So much fun. What a car. All right, here we are. SRT Viper GTS going down the front straight at Laguna Seca. Oh, woo! So much power. This thing just lights up at 5,000 RPM. That's actually where max torque is. 8.4 liter V10 produces max torque at 5,000 RPM. It's just nuts. Oh, and it is a handful. This is not like the Corvette. This bounces more. Suspension feels a lot stiffer. There's a lot more work to go fast in this car than in the Corvette. And it doesn't have nearly the brakes nor nearly the grip of that ZR1. What's funny is that when you get near red line, there's a red snake face that lights up. Car wants to bite you. I'm actually surprised this thing doesn't punch you in the crotch when you get near red line. It actually feels quicker than the ZR1, just straight line acceleration. Leap for it. So much power. All right, big brake for the corkscrew. Little nervous heading into the corkscrew on this thing. This suspension's really stiff, and I'm not getting the confidence in this car that I had in the ZR1. It just doesn't seem to grip as well quickly, or doesn't seem to grip as well at high speeds as the ZR1, but that's a lot of fun. Oh, it's a lot of work too. What a mean car. What a mean, mean car. It really beats on you.
Clearly, I preferred the Corvette, but what would a professional race car driver think? Time to bring in our in-house hot shoe, the great Randy Post.
All right, we're in the Corvette ZR1 at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Flying over turn 1. Tremendous power in the ZR1. It's a broader spread of torque than the Viper. It's an easier car to access the power. Turn 2. We've got better balance here, less understeer than the Viper. But you can miss that shift to 3rd gear. It's not as accurate as shifter. Off of turn 3, Corvette puts the power down well. Partially, I think, because it's softer. You can tell it's a more compliant suspension. Ripping up towards turn 5, over 120, tremendous braking capability. A little bit of dive, but great braking capability. Off of turn 5, climbs the hill like a beast, makes wonderful noise. It's loud on track and it's quiet on the street. Good combination in the ZR1. Through turn 6, that compliant suspension does a great job of absorbing the bumps. Into the corkscrew. Again, appreciate the powerful braking. The carbon brakes have a lot of bite. Over the corkscrew, power down in 2nd gear. Corvette is an easier, more manageable car to drive down through turn 9. Extremely well balanced, a very slight power oversteer through turn 10. Same thing, into the last corner. Those brakes are strong again. Better seats hold me in place, power it down. Little oversteer off the last corner, easy to catch. Broad power band heading for the finish line. A complete lap at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca and the ZR1, a more refined, easier car to drive fast and a brutally fast car.
Well, my friend,
That's about all I got.
you might very well be the new production car record holder at Laguna Seca.
Front straightaway at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Viper pulls really hard over 5,000 RPM. Very different from the Corvette in that way. The Vet has more of a broad torque curve. Wow, moves around as I go to the brakes. Brake pedal very firm. Feels good under the foot, but does not stop like the Vet does. Second gear. This Viper moves around, turn 3, second gear again, tall gearing. We can run second gear almost all the way to turn 4. Little twitch on the entry, huge power, huge noise. Seat's less comfortable. Into turn 5, uphill, little slide from the back. Very common entering the corner. Then we tack out third gear up the hill. The higher you rev it, the faster it goes. Turn 6. A lot less brake dive than the Corvette. A lot less body roll than the Corvette. Less of all those body motions. But I'm getting some brake fade already into one lap. Down into the corkscrew. Good shifter. Prefer the shifter to the Vet. Second gear off the corkscrew. It puts down power well, but you better bring it in easy. Turn 9, I'm still in second gear. Up to almost 90 miles an hour in second gear. Back to the right. Very quick steering response. Quick ratio steering. Into the hairpin. We kick it in there, power down, and it just drives off. Up the front straight in the Viper. Tremendous acceleration across the finish line. A powerful, visceral, kind of wild and crazy ride. Fun car, less refined than the Corvette, faster in a straight line, but the Vet's a better handling car. That's a lot of work.
Randy, you just set the production car lap record at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. You broke it by 0.2 of a second.
Yes.
How does that feel?
It's a good ego boost.
Yeah.
We only get a few laps. We have the track for just a little bit. But as a racer, I wanted to take the top time.
You got it.
And it's like a win.
What was the difference between the Viper and the ZR1 on the track? Because the Viper, I mean, while it was slower than the ZR1, the Viper is still faster than the Ferrari 458 Italia, faster than the Lexus LFA, faster than the Nissan GTR. I mean, it's a real supercar, but this thing was 2 seconds a lap faster. Why? Why was this one so much faster?
I hear you list those foreigners and I think, God bless America. These are American cars. So fast, so much potential speed. But the reason the Corvette ZR1 was quicker, at least in my hands, was that performance is accessible. I can get to the limit of the car and stay there. And that's what lap time comes down to. Being able to fill the friction circle with braking, blending it into cornering, blending into acceleration. Both cars have tremendously high capabilities. But in the Corvette, I can reach those capabilities. Less fear and more consistency and smoothness. The Viper's a little bit scary. It's a little more brutal. It's a much more difficult car to drive fast, isn't it?
It's a sadistic car. And you know, ZR1, again, it's over 2 seconds a lap faster, which is pretty huge. And I think now we can conclude this head-to-head. The winner, Corvette ZR1. Thanks for watching, everybody.